You know, when you think about Iraq's water crisis, you probably picture cracked, dry earth and rivers that are just shrinking. And you're not wrong. But what if the real story here isn't just about climate change? What if it's actually about control, about strategy, and really about a nation's fight for its own future? Let's dig into it.
So this is the big question we're tackling today. Is Iraq's struggle for water just a case of bad luck from Mother Nature? Or is it the result of a system that's failing by design? The research we're looking at makes a really powerful case that this crisis is man-made. And you know what that means? It means it can also be man-fixed. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to break this down into 5 parts. First, we'll get into why their whole approach to management is broken. Then, we'll see how the government is basically working in pieces. We'll uncover a huge resource problem that's literally hidden, then lay out a really clear blueprint for action. And finally, we'll tie it all together with the massive issue of national sovereignty.
Okay, first up, this crisis of management. The problem, at its core, is that Iraq's entire water strategy is kind of stuck in the past. It's a strategy built to solve problems that, well, they just aren't the most critical ones anymore.
And this really lays out the strategic mismatch perfectly. For decades, the answer to any water problem was just to build more stuff, more dams, more canals. It was all about cranking up the supply. But today's world, the real challenge is managing demand. It's about efficiency, about being smarter with every drop. It's a total mindset shift that just hasn't happened yet.
So, if the strategy's outdated, what about the system that's supposed to carry it out? Well, that brings us to our second point, governing in fragments. Think of it like a bunch of disconnected pipes, leaking water everywhere and not really leading anywhere useful. On paper, it looks like there's a central authority, right? The Ministry of Water Resources, set up back in 2008. But here's the huge catch. It was built on a really shaky legal foundation. It's got the title, for sure, but it doesn't have the teeth to operate effectively in a system that's scattered, incomplete, and just full of contradictions. And just look how deep these cracks go. There is no single water law for the whole country. Federal, provincial, and regional governments, they don't really coordinate. You've got different ministries with their own laws that actually conflict with each other. There's no independent referee to enforce any rules. And the data they're using to make these huge decisions, a lot of the time it's just wrong or incomplete. It's a system that's literally fighting itself.
This all leads us to a part of the crisis that's literally out of sight. We're talking about the unseen resource, groundwater. It's an absolutely critical lifeline that's being drained away with almost zero oversight.
So what's happening underground is basically an unregulated race to the bottom. People are digging unlicensed wells all over the place. But here's the scary part. Without modern geological data, nobody actually knows how much water is being taken out or what the sustainable limits even are. It's a total free-for-all, happening right under everyone's feet.
So how do you fix something like that? The source material offers this really powerful and frankly brilliant idea, one that's grounded in something Iraq already does really well. The proposal? Create a public company for groundwater, modeled directly on their very successful oil exploration company. I mean, think about it. This would professionalize the whole thing, from mapping the reserves to managing how it's used. It's a big idea, but it's a familiar one.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problems, right? An outdated strategy, fragmented government, and this unregulated groundwater mess. Now let's pivot to the solution, a comprehensive blueprint for action that's built on 4 solid pillars of reform.
The plan rests on these 4 pillars. First, pass a single, unified water law that ends the chaos. Second, create that public groundwater company to finally get a handle on the unseen resource. Third, build a national water observatory so that everyone, and I mean everyone, is working from the same accurate data. And fourth, create a permanent expert negotiation team for dealing with other countries. You put them all together, and you've got a modern, integrated system.
And this final section is where it all comes together. We're moving beyond just pipes and laws and talking about power and sovereignty. Because in this part of the world, water isn't just about survival. It is national security. This table really shows Iraq's core vulnerability. It's a downstream nation. That means its 2 legendary rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates, are controlled by its upstream neighbors, Turkey, Iran, and Syria. Without a unified, professional, and constant negotiation strategy, Iraq is always going to be in a weak, reactive position. And that is exactly why that 4th pillar, the permanent negotiation unit, is so absolutely crucial. So at the end of the day, the ultimate goal of this entire blueprint, it isn't just to manage water a little bit better, it's to secure Iraq's water sovereignty.
It's about giving the nation the tools, legal, institutional, and diplomatic, to actually control its most essential resource. And that means ensuring its stability and security for generations to come.
And so we are left with one final and really the most crucial question of all. The blueprint is there. It's a clear path to turn this crisis into a real opportunity. The technical plan exists. The only question that's left is, does the political will exist to actually build it?